What's going on, guys? I'm the Maha Mechanic, and today we're going to be installing this Soul Performance exhaust on this 2014 Porsche Cayman S. So let's get into it. So stick around to the end of the video where I'll have sound comparisons from the old exhaust to the new exhaust, all the sound clips you could need, cold starts, flybys, revs, all that jazz. But yeah, today we're gonna be taking apart the entire exhaust. We're gonna do head back exhaust. So you can see we have new long tube headers with high flow cats, new mufflers, new tips, new everything. So yeah, let's get started. So before you start, I recommend that you spray everything down with penetrating fluid, especially on exhaust bolts. So it doesn't bode well if you try to just yank them out without penetrating fluid. So to increase your chances of getting these bolts out, making your job go smoother, I recommend you spray everything. If you don't want to spray everything and you don't care if anything breaks, I would spray your exhaust manifold bolts, just because, you know, if you snap one of those, it's going to be a very bad day. Ours don't look corroded at all. They look brand new. So, I mean, that's a plus, but I definitely recommend that you spray those down. So now that we have everything sprayed down, we can start removing stuff. So I'm probably going to move over to the header to exhaust bolts right here. They're not actually bolts, they're, you're going to remove the nuts. You can see over here, the bolt doesn't have a face to it. So I'm going to be removing the nuts on this side. To do that, I feel like it'll be easier to take the wheels off. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, now we're going to remove the bolts to the header. I took off the wheels. You can see no wheel, just so you can have easier access to the bolt. Now that we have these ones off, we can go to the other side and remove those ones. All right, now that we have both sides removed, we're gonna remove the support bar next. So now we're gonna work our way to this support bar thing. We're gonna remove the bracket from the actual transmission. 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we remove those bolts, the transmission and bracket bar should come out together. And since we have everything removed, didn't really even need to have to remove these, but once we have all those removed, we can kind of tilt it down this way and out and over the axles and whatnot. So yeah, let's go ahead and remove those. No, those are not tight at all. And there you go. We have the whole exhaust, well, pretty much all the exhaust pieces off in one piece. You can see here are the bolts holes that we removed to get that to happen. We weren't able to get the bolts all the way out because good old German engineering right there. So just keep in mind, we're gonna have to put it in the same way. Put the bolts in before you put the new exhaust in. I think the tops should be fine because there isn't a top portion over there, but the bottoms for sure. Before you put the tips on, make sure to put the bolts in to the bracket. But now we're on to the headers. And who would we be if we didn't start it on open headers? So let's give it a crack. Jesus, you like that? No. So now we're going to remove the 9 bolts that are attaching the headers to the head. Oh my god, that was so easy.
You know how many foot?
Now we have to remove the little support that holds up the header as well. So I think what I'm going to do is remove these 3 bolts on the bottom, and I should be able to lift it off of this support here, but we'll see how that goes. Now it's time for the O2 sensors. There's a wide band and a narrow band here, so there's 2 on top of the header. I want to remove both. I think the wide band is smaller than the narrow band, but we'll see. Gonna remove those before you take up the header. Just broke them loose. They're not on there too tight, but could be different from you. Closest I found was a 7/8. I used a adjustable wrench for this one, and then I used a 7/8 for the one upstream. All right, there's one out. There's the other. So now we go to the other side and do the same thing. So we ended up removing the little under panel here, just so that we could slide the headers forward, kind of into this gap here and then down. That worked a lot better. Now that we have the headers off, it makes it a lot easier to access our coil packs. So we're gonna remove the spark plugs. We're gonna change all the spark plugs while we have these out, just to be easy. All right, so now that we have the headers, the whole exhaust system is off, we can start assembling the new one. And as you see here, our little bracket that we took off that holds the transmission, or that holds the exhaust to the transmission, it was just held on with clamps right here. So remove these clamps on either side, then it comes loose, and then we're going to want to take it and throw it on the back of the transmission again. So let's do that now, and then once we do that, we can assemble from the headers all the way to the back of the car, just piecing things together piece by piece. Our bolts here. Take them out. So I couldn't really find a torque spec for these bolts, but I'm just going to go down to 20 foot-pounds, and that should be good enough. Now we can start installing the exhaust. So you're going to want to kind of scrape all the excess carbon off of the mating surface, wipe it down until you can't really feel much of anything. Here you can feel a little bit, but it's a lot better than a mound of carbon that was sitting there before. So yep, clean up all your mating surfaces, and then we'll go ahead and install our headers. New gaskets, make sure the tab is pointing towards the inside, towards the engine.
This side you were able to actually loosen them. Yeah. You may have a little more room. I think the cap's smaller. Okay. That is gonna be weird.
Gloves are coming off. Gloves are stupid.
You want me to kind of hold it while you can maneuver?
I'll hold it like right here. Alright, we're going to torque this down to the diagram up on screen. We're going to torque it down to 22 foot-pounds each bolt, and using the sequence that I'll put up on the screen here. Now we're going to go over one more time just to make sure. For the O2 sensor that's more towards the end of the cat here, you're going to have to cut a little zip tie and get it out of some clips that hold it to the engine, just to make sure it's long enough to actually reach the bung back here. But once you do that, it should fit nicely. So tighten these bad boys down. No real torque spec for them, just get them nice and snug. Also with these, they usually take 4 turns to get in and out. So when you're putting them in, make sure to do 4 turns the opposite way. Start threading it in and then start turning it so that when it unravels, the wire is not all twisted. So now that we got both headers on, I'm gonna clean that up later, don't even worry. We can move on to mounting one side or one muffler from there over here, rested on here. And then once we get that tightened down, we'll get this tightened down. Once that side's tightened down, come over here, put on the tips just to that one side. And then the other side, we'll kind of slide it in there and then slide it over to the other header. As you can see over here, this is kind of how close the exhausts, the mufflers were. You can see that's going to be the same for that over there. So you're not going to be able to put that little X pipe on with both mufflers on at the same time. You're going to have to put it on one and then put the other one on, then put it on the other. So. Now, what we're going to do, instead of tightening these down right away, which could have this at any angle, as you can see here, got a lot of movement here. We're going to put the X pipe on, and we're not going to tighten anything down until we have someone back here holding the tips where they want them. Then we'll work our way from the headers back, tightening everything down, just to make sure that nothing is tilted or skewed or crooked or whatnot. So X pipe is next. All right, so looking at the X pipe, contour sloping down, not up, because that puts you in a really weird spot. So it coming down, slide it over this bad boy. Just put the collar off to the side. We'll let it hang there, and then we'll put the other muffler in over here. So now that we got the header to muffler bolts tightened down, we're gonna tighten down our clamps for our exhaust hanger here. Now the only thing left to do is tighten down the bolts for the X pipe here. I recommend just tightening down the collars for the tips once you get them where you want so they don't move, and then go and do the header nuts and bolts, and then come back and do these once as your very last. All right, now that we got the exhaust on, it's time to roll those before and after sound clips. So that does it for this video. I thoroughly enjoyed this video to see the transformation of this car go from, you know, like a tame house cat to like a panther. But yeah, anyway, if you found this video informative, please be sure to like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more. And remember, no matter your experience or your skill level, keep on improving.